from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios. It's the Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. We help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. We're glad you're with us, America. Christina Ellis, #1 best-selling author, Ramsey personality, is my co-host today as we talk to you about your life and your money. The phone numbers are easy and the call is free. Some say the advice is worth exactly what you pay for it. The phone number is 888-825-5225. 888-825-5225. Matthew is with us in Los Angeles. Hi, Matthew. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, how are you doing?
Better than I deserve. What's up in your world?
Well, I have a couple of quick questions. First of all, I have a annuity / 401k plan, and there's about close to $1 million in there. And I got this letter from the organization, and they have this program, and it's called a single life annuity. And I'll read it to you. It says that pays you a fixed amount of money each month for the rest of your life. And then it says, following your death, no payments will be made to your spouse or your heirs. So the estimated payment that they'll pay me under that condition is $4,300 a month. Now, they also offer...
Well, that sucks.
Right.
$48,000 on $1 million, 4.8% return on your $1 million, and then you lose all your money at death?
Well, this is the thing. I don't know if you misunderstood. They're going to pay me, yes, they're going to pay me $4,300 a month.
Yeah, $48,000 a year.
Okay, that's correct. Yeah, you do quick math. Okay. But they also offer that for a lesser amount, which will be $3,600 a month, that I can my spouse will be able to continue at that amount.
That's so
for the
sweet.
rest of her life.
That's so sweet.
Right.
So they're going to screw you again. Yeah. No.
All right.
No,
so,
no, and no.
No,
and no, and no, and no, and no, and no. This is $1 million mistake.
Okay.
So have you got a fireplace? Have you got a fireplace by chance?
I do, yes.
Okay, good. You can use this letter for kindling.
Okay. Well, see, the thing is that, and that's kind of my question, is you're always concerned on how long you're going to live. Now, I'm
concerned that you're $1 million poorer when you die after only getting a 4.8% return on your money.
Okay.
That concerns me.
Okay.
When you could have been in good mutual funds averaging a 10% rate of return, and when you die, the $1 million is still there.
Right. Okay.
So this is it's like you're accepting half the money you should be getting per month, and you lose all of your money at retirement, and they wink and nod and act like they're doing you a favor. This is laughable.
Well, I think the reason that they bring this forward is because a lot of folks don't like to have to deal with,
the reason they bring it forward is anybody that's dumb enough to do it, they're screwing them out of $1 million. That's the reason they bring it forward.
Well,
it is not.
Well, they present it as being convenient for you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You have a guarantee. You're guaranteed to be screwed.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, seriously.
All right, well,
if you can listen, the stock market has averaged 11.8% since it began.
Right.
If it does half of what it has averaged for the next 20 years, you are still going to have more money per month and then leave your heirs $1 million more than these goobers are offering you. You understand the difference?
Right. Oh, yeah, no.
It's $1 million swing at death.
Yeah. Well, although you do know the $1 million is still, it's not taxed yet. I mean, I haven't pulled it out. So, I mean,
I do know that, and I do know that your income is going to be taxed as you pull it off per the income.
Exactly.
But I wasn't even going to touch the $1 million. I was going to live off of the return it created, and it just sits there.
Right.
And guess what? Okay. It's not taxed. So There you go. Yeah, no. When a life insurance company says we are here to help you, in general, it's like the government saying we are here to help. In both cases, you should scream, set your hair on fire, and run out of the room.
Right. Yeah. And I think, they do play into that convenience factor. I think a lot of people feel overwhelmed and they're like, we'll take care of you. Don't worry about, you could live 30 more years and we'll make sure you're taken care of. But it's not really the reality of the situation. They're not there to be super generous to you.
Another way of looking at it, Matthew, is you wouldn't have $1 million if you had been using their products to grow your wealth. You wouldn't even have this problem. The fact that you were self-sufficient.
Well, and it's like if you want to have that convenience factor, if you are feeling a little bit overwhelmed with your finances and you have savings, then talk to a SmartVestor Pro. That's someone who can take that overwhelm and guide you into things that are really going to grow your money and help you in the long run.
Being broke is always inconvenient. Having half the money you should have is inconvenient. That's inconvenience. So no, don't look for a babysitter. Don't look for a magic wand. Manage your money, make your money behave, live off of the income. $1 million creating a 10% rate of return is $100,000 a year, not $50,000 a year.
Yeah. Well, and just the fees on these products are ridiculous. I was just talking with my in-laws about this over Thanksgiving, and they were talking about annuities and showing me some of the paperwork, and it's like, whew, that is ridiculous. Even if there is a death benefit, it is not great.
Yeah, and it's just, so the best thing to do is to run from these people as fast as you possibly can. Do your investing in good investments, and good investments are never found at life insurance companies. Do not go to the transmission store to fix your muffler. They work on transmissions. Life insurance people should be in the life insurance business. They got in the investment business because they figured out it was a way to screw people. And that's what this is. Anytime you pay someone half of what they should be getting per month, and then you keep their money when they die, that by definition is screwing them. And so if you don't like it and you're in that business, you should get in another business, and that way I won't say you're screwing people. Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey said you're a crook, okay? That's what Dave Ramsey just said. I stand up for the consumer. I don't give a flip what you think if you work for a life insurance company. You can just pound sand, right? And so that was nice. I cleaned that up considerable. But no, seriously, there's entire websites devoted from the life insurance world that hate on Dave Ramsey, and I am blessed by that fact because that means that I am standing up for the consumer instead of you out there, you listeners, and because I am not taking a poll with those morons. Oh my gosh, no, really, seriously. Go handle your own money. You'll have more money during life. You'll have more money during death. Ride the roller coaster yourself. They're riding it and keeping the change while you sit there and take the lint out of your pocket. And that's all you get. This is The Ramsey Show. If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com. Well, if you didn't know, today is Giving Tuesday. guess that follows Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Who knew? It's a day completely dedicated to giving with outrageous generosity. I thought that was Christmas. And if you've taken Financial Peace University, you know that giving is the most fun you can have with money. We teach that all the time. And what I'm telling you is there's nothing more fun than giving someone else a taste of the peace that you've discovered. And you could do that with the money because it'll change their life and it'll change their family's lives. So for today only, we are offering an incredible deal on Financial Peace University. Buy 2 Financial Peace University memberships for only $99.99. That's $60 off the regular price. So if you want one and you give one, you got the deal of deals on this. Serious bargain. One of the best prices we have ever offered. And we're also extending our Black Friday offer to get our lowest price ever on a single if you want to do that. But both of these deals end today, at the end of Giving Tuesday. So give them as Christmas gifts, bless somebody in your church or your office, get the course in the hands of people who need it. It's what financial peace is all about, living and giving like no one else. So to buy FPU as a gift, go to RamseySolutions.com/GiveFPU. RamseySolutions.com/GIVEFPU. Christina Ellis, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today. Thank you for joining us, America. Dennis is with us in New York City. Hi, Dennis. How are you?
Hi, Dave and Christina. How you guys doing?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
I was just wondering. I haven't heard you talk about it, I don't think. My pension allows me to retire at 55, and so I've read up on. I believe it's called the Law of 55.
Mm-hmm.
That you can pull from a 401k if you retire, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a calculation. There's a calculation that you can. It's a very small amount once you run the formula, without being penalized, and it's really pretty minuscule. So if you don't have like a massive 401k, it's not going to amount to anything.
Okay. I didn't know there was a restriction on the amount. Okay.
Oh, definitely is. Yeah. Now, the exception is there are a few special 401ks with special industries, special companies that are structured in such a way that at 55 it's available. But 99% of them, including mine, are available only after 59 and a half.
Dennis, how much do you have in your 401k?
Right now, 340, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've got another 17 years to retire, but.
Yeah. So what are you going to do? Just go do something else?
I'll have a pension from my company.
Yeah. But I mean, you're 55 years old. What are you going to do? Sit on your butt for 40 years?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Find something to fill the time.
Yeah. Like go make more than you used to make doing something you love?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. What do you make now?
150 this year so far.
What do you do?
Work for the utility company.
Okay.
Like electric and gas and stuff.
Yeah. But listen, so what I'm challenging is this premise that life is better when you don't have work.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think life is better when you do have work. You know the number of people that die like 2 years after they retire because they sit around and have nothing to do, and they just die? It's crazy. I mean, it's so there's a purpose. Now, if you hate what you're doing and you want to move to a different chapter, fine. But I've had friends, for instance, I had a friend of mine that sold his business out when he was 32, went bass fishing for 3 years, got fat, and caught a bunch of fish and got fat and got bored and went back into business at 36. And he was worth $10 million, but he was just bored out of his gourd. He said, bass fishing, I thought that was going to be the end. I thought the rest of my life I get to do whatever I want. I'm going to play golf and bass fish. That's all I'm going to do. And he said, it was absolutely the most empty life I've ever had. He says, I wanted to do something and move something around and contribute. And I think you'll find that you find more happiness doing that. That's my challenge. Now, I'm not saying you don't necessarily leave this job or this career, but what we call it in our world is an encore career. After the play is over, you take a bow and you come out and you do, or after the concert's over, you come out and you do an encore. You play another song, right? And sometimes the song after the bow, after the standing ovation, is the best one you ever sing. And so it's not unusual at all for someone 55 to make the most money they've ever made in their life doing something they love when they left the job that got them that far and take a bow.
Yeah, Dennis, I would challenge you to create a vision for what this next season of life is going to look like. And if you want to take 6 months or a year, to bass fish, hopefully you don't get a little chunky like Dave's friend, but take some time to do something fun. That's great. But then think through, what do you want to do after that? I mean, what does that look like, that encore career? Or maybe it's nonprofit service. Maybe there's something else you're passionate about, but create that vision before you leave your job so that you're really motivated moving forward. And let's get him a copy of Paycheck to Purpose.
Absolutely.
So that he can, kind of work through, what does that next career look like that's going to light you on fire?
Let's do it. I'm in. Just do something. I mean, you don't have to be stressed out. And I'm just saying, life is more fun when you're contributing rather than just coasting. And you're going to find that pretty quick. Bernard is in California. Hey, Bernard, how are you?
How you doing, Dave?
Better than I deserve. How can we help?
Yes, I'm in a dilemma, so to say. It's been reached that it looks like my wife and I were going to enter into the world of divorce, and I bought a house just recently. Haven't even been a year yet, and we have disagreement on how we should raise our 19-year-old daughter, and the 19-year-old daughter won, and we've been at odds ever since the 26th of September. And so I have a brand new house, and if I initiate the divorce process, I, as the guy, has to leave the house.
Who said?
And then, the attorneys who I've, basically trying to see where my footing was, and they said that I have to leave the house. There's not a judge in the world that's going to put an 11-year-old child in the street, and I cannot leave the house and go and pay rent someplace and still pay the mortgage. So I was going to have a meeting today with my family and tell them, look, I can't afford to file and can't afford to leave the house. So I'm going to have to stay here and hash this out. Now, I'm the sole breadwinner here in the house.
Okay, so how does she expect to live after she divorces you or causes you to file divorce?
Well, she's listening to some armchair lawyers, and she is saying that she's not leaving anywhere unless she has a divorce.
That wasn't what I asked.
Oh,
okay,
sorry.
if she doesn't have a job and you can't pay rent and a house payment, how does she think that she's going to be able to live without your income? Because you're going to pay child support and maybe some alimony, but it's not going to be enough to support that house and that household.
Yeah, she feels that I have to some kind of way go get another job.
No, that's not what the law says, not even in weird California.
I understand, but the part that I have a hard time with is if I file, I'm the one that's going to have to leave the house.
So don't file.
To the attorney.
Yeah, so don't file.
That's what I was breaking the news to them today about when everybody get out of school.
Who's them?
To let them know. Well, my 11-year-old daughter.
You don't need to negotiate with an 11-year-old.
I appreciate that, but she's very boisterous.
I couldn't give a crap less. She's 11.
I got you, Dave. She's the biggest saver in the house. I get it. Yes.
Well,
yes,
and therein we have your problem, sir. I think you need to become the biggest in the house. Again, the inmates are running the asylum. There's your issue. But no, dude, I mean, money doesn't just suddenly start appearing in her pocket or your pocket because we can't get along, and your income doubles and she can magically live the life she's been living. This house will be sold and she will be getting a job, and the 11-year-old will be in freaking daycare. This is what's going to happen. So everybody needs to get their heads around what this is going to cause when we're all here, and then maybe we can decide who's really making decisions there.
Still on baby step number 1, eh?
How'd you guess?
With healthcare costs rising, learn how Christian Healthcare Ministries can help you make the most out of your budget. Visit chministries.org/budget.
Don't worry, it's worth it.
Christina Ellis, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Thank you for joining us, America. This is The Ramsey Show. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Amar and Jennifer are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Hey, how are you guys?
Better than we deserve. Where do you guys live?
We're from Orlando, Florida.
Oh, very good. Well, good to have you.
Thank you for having us.
Very cool. So, how much debt have you paid off?
We paid off $103,000.
All right. And how long did this take?
18 months.
Wow. And your range of income during that time?
It was 77,000 to 125.
Very cool. Very cool. So what kind of debt was the 103,000?
Majority was my student loans, taxes, credit cards, and consumer debt.
Oh, you kind of just had everything.
A little bit
Super
of everything.
normal.
You're just kind of normal.
Super normal.
Super normal. Super normal. Yeah, very good. All right. How long you guys been married?
2 years. We just celebrated our 2-year anniversary on the 20th of November.
Yes.
Ah, very good.
Yes.
Very good. Well, it's an honor to have you all today. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're so happy to be here.
Right after you get married, you go, game on, we're cleaning this mess up. Tell me the story.
Yes. Well, I mean, once we got married, long story short, yes, we've been living the normal life, stuff that you don't know. You know, we were ignorant about our finances. We didn't know how to manage our money, you know, none of that stuff. So we were obviously living paycheck to paycheck. You know, we have plenty of stories. I have one of them, for example, that I always mention to people that now I talk about finances, is that I ate the most expensive cookie I've ever had from a gas station. Why was that? Because I paid $150 for the cookie, and then the overdraft kicked in, so it was like $37. Because of that.
$37 cookie.
You know, and it was
Gourmet gas station cookie.
not even. It was super dry. Now the free one that you have here, they're a lot better. You know?
for so many reasons. Yeah.
Exactly. So
I love it.
Yeah. So I mean, it was all the norm. You know, we didn't know, so you don't do what you don't know. You know, so.
Yeah, so after we got married in 2020 of November, we did the typical couple thing. We wanted to buy a house. So we met up with his brother, who's a realtor and a lender, and we pretty much they asked us the questions like, what's your debt? What's your income? What's your credit score? And every question that they asked us, we're just like, oh my God, we are so in over our heads.
Yeah.
There's no possible way we can afford a house right now. And that's what kind of kicked us into gear.
Yeah, we were like, okay, this is not gonna happen. It's like when you go to the doctor and you don't want to tell them what you do. You know, you ate bad. Do you do this? Yes. You know, so you know you're gonna be sick, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so that happened.
Yeah.
So after that, we got your book. We'll get into that in a second. I read the book. I was telling Jennifer, aka Boo Boo, that's the name I gave her, is Boo Boo. And I told her, Boo Boo, this is what we gotta do. You know, because if we do not make a change, it's not going to happen. You know, and it was like if it was in a boxing match with the book. Read. You know, it was a jab to the face.
Yeah.
Read, jab to the face. You know, Ramsey with the boxing gloves.
Ouch, Dave.
And it was definitely a mindset change. It has to be. It has to start with you. And until that happens, nothing's gonna change. You know, it's like what you guys say. If nothing changes, right? So we had to do something, you know. Yes. So we got really got selling intense. After that, we started knocking down small debts. I feel like the first 80 to 100 pages of the book is all about mindset, you know, behavior, and that's the main thing that we got onto. You know, started paying off the debts.
We did the debt snowball.
It was awesome.
Followed it all the way to the end.
Yeah, things that I enjoyed the most about that journey was not seeing due dates. I don't have to pay on the 5th.
I like
You know,
that.
oh, I don't have to pay on the 17th again. Thank God. So it gives you peace.
Relief.
Yeah, the whole thing changes. The other thing was that as we paid the smaller one, then we have more money for the next one. And it got to a point that we were paying $6,000 to $7,000 a month. And like everything, I think we were tried as soon as we started. Like we started like in February of 2021, and in May my son got into an accident in my car and totaled the car.
Totaled the car.
Scariest thing that I've ever experienced in my life. But thankfully nothing happened to him. But then that set us back a month.
Yeah.
Because
So
then the money that we needed to use for the debt, then we had to do it to get a new car.
not a new car.
No, I mean, well, a new Tuos car, right? Now, the thing is this, you have a lot of people around you telling you, no, but you're in a good position to finance a car. Just get a car.
Yeah, so many people were telling us, just buy a car, just buy a brand new car, put a small down payment, it's
22.
okay. And we're like,
Correct.
no, we just started this
No,
journey.
thank you.
We cannot
Yeah.
fall back. We
Yeah.
The book
cannot-
will hit you in the face. Don't do that.
Exactly. You gotta be aware of this book. So definitely, I mean, obviously we didn't get into that, and it took us a couple of weeks, and we found a reliable car, for $6,500, which is the amount of money that we normally were paying to
our
the
debt.
Funny story is that the guy that sold it to us had just put it online 5 minutes before we saw it. And we were the first one that saw it. Next day we were buying it because we had the cash. So, the trials or, the tests are going to come whenever you are focused on something. Just make sure that you do not, detour
Veer
or,
off.
yeah, exactly, from what you really want to do. So,
How's it feel to be free?
oh, it's amazing.
It's a breath of fresh air.
Was it worth it?
Oh, man.
Oh,
you know,
100%.
You sleep better, you dance better, you talk better, you walk better. Everything is a lot better. Yes.
So for the people out there who are normal, who are, spending on credit, who are where you guys were before, how do they go from that to where you are now? Because you guys are obviously on fire. Like, you dove all in. What would you tell that person?
Yeah, it's just discipline. You got to have the discipline to not buy those cute pair of shoes. And you can save that outfit for another time, For me, especially, I love shoes and clothes. So that was, for me, it was a discipline, just trying not to focus on those things that will get me in trouble.
She didn't buy anything for a long time.
For like a whole year, I didn't buy anything.
I was so proud of her. Yeah, for me, I think the most important thing is the mindset change. The behavior, like you said, right? 80% behavior is 20% math, and it really is stuff that you don't understand until you go through it. And that's one of the main things. One thing I want to say though also is, I think for you to be successful in anything, having the right support system or having the right people next to you helps a lot. I'll give you a quick example of what I mean by that. I have my friends and family. They're friends that became family, Johnny, Carla, David, and Nino. David, right? When
He's a big fan of yours as
oh,
well.
Yeah, he was talking to us about Ramsey for about 4 years. And I didn't even remember the name.
We didn't even
I was
listen
like,
to
okay,
him.
we were not ready to receive what he had to give, and once he knew that we were trying to buy a house and all of this stuff, but he knew where we were because we were friends.
Yeah.
Then one day he knocked on my door, my house.
And he hit you with a book.
I know, almost. This is going back. No, he knocked on the
This
door.
book is violent.
He knocked on the door. All he did, he didn't even say hi or anything. He walked in, put the book on the table, pat me in the back, and walked out. And I'm like,
I love it.
bro, what's going on? And that's actually how I started. So we are super, super grateful for you guys, because without friends like that, cheering us on and giving us that
Keeping us
support.
accountable.
Yes, it's really, really hard to do. Not only then, our family too, they're super happy because they've seen where we were, and now they see where we are.
Yeah. So, guys, we've got the Live and Give bundle for you.
Yes.
The Total Money Makeover book, the Baby Steps Millionaire book, and a membership to Financial Peace University. You ready to do a debt-free scream?
Let's do it.
Love it. All right. Amar and Jennifer from Orlando, $103,000 paid off in 18 months, making $77 to $125. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt free.
Woo! Nice dance move. For those of you looking deeply into your radio, you missed that, but go back and watch it on YouTube. It's worth the trouble. Well done, you guys. That's a home run. This is the Ramsey Show. Christina Ellis, #1 best-selling author, Ramsey personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Laura is with us in Austin, Texas. Hi, Laura. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for taking my call today.
Sure. How can we help?
Well, I have 2 adult daughters, well, my husband and I do, 34 and 35, and the 35-year-old is married and lives in Colorado. And a year ago, October, we were going to go take a trip up to see her, but due to the pandemic and our very different views on masking and social distancing and all of that, it ended up, we had a heated conversation, and she has cut us out of her life completely. So we got a letter from her the following day, an email saying, we're all done. She wouldn't have anything to do with us. She changed her number, changed her email, and all cards and correspondence have been returned unopened. So I waited a whole year, and, you know, I have a will. We have a will. We both have wills. Basically, it's a 50-50 for our girls. But given where we're at now, I'm like, I don't feel comfortable if I were to die tomorrow to leave that daughter money if she won't even contact me or take my calls. And I don't know how to handle that, whether I should. Is it appropriate for me to change my will, or should I look at it like I'm not going to be here, I won't know anything about that, just leave it and move on?
I'm so sorry.
I waited a year because it's like a death.
No, it's worse than a death because
Yes.
they're still there.
Yes.
In a sense.
And our other daughter just got married 2 weeks ago, and she, you know, struggled because her sister had cut her out as well a few months before us. So
wait a minute, your other daughter just got married and her sister didn't come to the wedding?
No.
I'm so sorry.
No, and she wasn't. She didn't invite her because she knew that the invitation would have come back.
I see.
Unopened.
Okay.
So nothing. We have not been able, unless we drove 1,000 miles to Colorado from Texas. We would never. She just returns everything. Says refused, return to sender. So we can't get anything to her.
Over a mask and social distancing. Both of which have turned out to not be true after the smoke cleared. It's just so sad.
It is, and you know, we couldn't hug her, and that was our thing. We said, well, if we can't hug our daughter when we come there, we don't see the value in us coming. We want to see you and hug you, and you know, it's been 2 years. Let's get together, and it just wasn't going to be.
Yeah, fear is a sad thing. The terror that took over people's mental ability to do. The number of these stories out there is just staggering. It's one of the huge costs of the mythology that was out there in the name of science, and the cost of people believing one thing and not believing another. It's just so sad. Just so sad.
It is. It is, and it shouldn't.
Your heart. I mean, as a mom, your heart must be just completely broken. So
it is.
What you have to do for you, not because it's an ethical thing or a moral thing, it's a part of your grieving process, is you have to change your will.
Okay. I'm comfortable with
no,
that.
No, it's not. It's not about being. That's you admitting what has happened.
Right.
In the Jewish culture, you'll hear them say, "You are dead to me. You are dead to me."
Yes.
And it goes back to the story that happened in Jewish culture that Christians call the story of the prodigal son. And you are dead to me. And so dead means that the person is still alive, but there's no longer any financial or relational interaction anymore. And in the Jewish culture, if you don't have a financial interaction and you don't have a relational interaction, it is worse than a death. And so it comes from the mindset of the prodigal son. And that's what the prodigal son did. He came in and took the inheritance before his father died and went and squandered it, right? You know the story.
I do.
And so, but that there's a reason for all of that in that culture, and it's a mental health reason, and it's for you to process the loss of your daughter.
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
The
changing of the will is just a part of you grieving and recovering from this. If it changes, you can always come back. If the situation changes, you can always come back and change it later. And you're not doing this to punish her, because she's not even going to know it. And
I know. I think that's the thing you think about is, well, when I'm gone and she would find out that she got nothing.
That's the cost of doing business the way she's done business.
Okay.
And it's
right.
But that's not relevant. This is not about punishment, and it's not about revenge, and it's not about vengeance. It's not about hitting back for the hurt. This is about closing the loop, closing the storyline. And if we can open the storyline later, that is fine. But it would not be. It's not good mental health for you to leave the will dangling as a false hope in your mind, and that's what it's doing.
To throw this in there, I would just offer a bit of a challenge. Even if the will is changed, I think it'd be easy at that point to just go, this story is done and she's cut out of my life and I want nothing to do with her, and then sit with anger and unforgiveness. I think that especially if the will is changed, in order to get to the story of the prodigal son and be like that father, you have to have a heart of forgiveness so that if the daughter ever comes back, you receive her with open arms. So I would just encourage you to also still work through those emotions and the hurt and the anger that comes from whatever argument there was, and work on forgiving that daughter so that if the story continues at some point, you're ready for it and you can have a relationship again.
Yeah. And again, that's what I'm saying. Your motivation is not about hitting back. Your motivation is not anger-based. It's just sadness. And it's going, this is the recognition that she's not in our life. And so it's illogical, and it's bad psychology and bad spiritual to leave her in there at this point. But it hasn't really got anything to do with her. It's got to do with you. And that's kind of what that's what forgiveness is as well, what Christine's talking about. I mean, that's got to do with you, not her. Because she's not receiving anything, because you're not talking to her. There's no way to get to her, and you can't. And no, I'm not going to show up on her front porch and confront her cutting. I mean, she made this decision. She's a grown-up. You cannot control other people's decisions, and you didn't cause it. You just disagreed. I mean, people disagree about politics and don't speak for the rest of their lives. They disagree about a piece of furniture and don't speak for the rest of their lives. And this is, it's just so low shelf. It's not a very high shelf way of living.
But it would be sad for the relationship to end permanently over COVID and mask restrictions.
But this is not up to her.
Right.
It's up to her daughter.
Right.
She didn't end it. Her daughter did.
That's true. But just having the heart of forgiveness. So
I'm just sitting there open. That's fine. Yeah. If it comes back, be open-handed.
Yeah.
If they come back. But, you cannot make people like you. You cannot make people behave. You cannot make people be nice. You can't make people grow a brain that don't have one. You can't. You just can't. You just have to accept them where they are and just go, that's forgiveness. I'm just going to let you be what you is. And then if you ever want to be something different, we'll talk about that too. That's okay. But yeah, this is a dangling thing in your psychology. It's hanging back there. You think about it when you wake up in the morning, and changing the will puts more closure on this and allows you to move on past this loss that's very real. And hang on, we're going to send you a copy of Dr. Deloney's book, Own Your Past, Change Your Future. I cannot think of hardly anything that would be more hurtful and harmful to have to go through than that. And it is in many ways worse than a death. Sorry, I'm so sorry you're facing this. This is The Ramsey Show.
Have you been inspired to make a change with your money? Want to know where to start? Take our 3-minute money quiz to get a plan you can follow. Go to RamseySolutions.com and search for Get Started to get a plan for your money.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios. It's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. We help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual, amazing relationships. Thank you for joining us, America. Christina L. is #1 best-selling author. Ramsey Personality is my co-host today. We'll take your calls at 888-825-5225. Barbara's in Phoenix to start this hour off. Hey, Barbara, how are you?
I'm well. Thank you for asking. How are you?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
Well, I have some rental property and some cash. And I'm 80 years old, and I want to leave all of this money to my children. And I want to get rid of these 4 last rentals, but I have tenants that's been in there for a long time, and I don't know, should I lose money by letting them stay in there because they're comfortable, or should I sell them and put the money aside?
How are you losing money?
I said, I'm not losing. Well, I'll because of the market is going down, and I feel like if I wait another year, I'm going to get a year less in income. I mean, not in income, but for the sale.
Yeah. Okay. Are you ill?
Am I ill?
Mm-hmm. Are you sick?
No, I'm not sick.
Okay. All right. Just asking. So, Phoenix has had some price adjustment. But it's not had a lot of value adjustment. The difference is that some of the properties were priced up because it was such a hot market, and now they're not pricing them quite so crazy. But the values have held overall. The houses are bringing less than they were asking before, but we're not seeing a huge drop in value in Phoenix. And I don't think that you're going to lose substantial money in 1 year. And if you make it 2 years, then you're probably going to make money by keeping them. Are they under rented? It sounds like you're not charging enough rent the way you described it.
I'm not charging enough rent, but they're comfortable. I don't need any money.
I know.
So I would rather help those people that's struggling than to make any extra money and pay it out to the government, because I do pay taxes on it.
Sure. Okay. So you have tenants that are charity cases?
Yes, for the most part. They're on fixed income, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, here's the deal. All right. If your kids probably don't want the real estate, right? They probably just rather have the cash.
They don't want it.
Okay. What did you pay for these rentals, and have you been depreciating them for many, many years?
You know what? I bought them in the 70s, and I paid
nothing
for 5 houses less than $100,000.
Yeah. And the group is worth what now?
Right now, I would say $750,000.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing:
right if you sell area,
if you sell them now, you're going to pay capital gains on the difference in what you sell them for and your basis. Your adjusted basis, which your basis is what you paid for them minus the depreciation that you have taken, and you probably depreciated them all the way out. You're probably going to pay taxes on every dollar that you sell them for, if you sell them now. Okay?
Right.
If instead you do a will, do you have a will?
Yes, I have a will and living trust, yes.
Okay. Then in the will, leave detailed instructions to the executor of the estate. Who's the executor? One of your kids?
Yes.
That they are to sell the properties upon your death and distribute the proceeds.
Okay.
Here's why. When they inherit $750,000 worth of market value property, if they sell it for $750,000, there's zero tax. If you sell it, you're going to pay tax on all of it.
Okay, that's what I needed to know.
There's a stepped-up basis. Your zero basis becomes their basis is market value at death. Okay. Your basis is what you paid for it minus the depreciation you've taken, which has probably got these houses at zero basis or close.
Yes.
Okay, and so you're going to pay taxes on almost the whole thing. They're going to pay taxes on nothing, and they can sell it and turn it into money, 3 weeks after you're gone, or whatever the proper procedure is in Arizona.
That's what I needed to hear.
Yeah, but leave instructions. That way your heirs don't think, well, Mama wanted us to keep these properties and take care of these people on fixed income, because that's not what Mama wants. Mama wants these things sold.
Yes.
So be sure you write that down and say it out loud for everybody to read. Matter of fact, make it an instruction in the will. The properties are to be liquidated upon my death and the proceeds dispersed equally or whatever you want it to be.
Okay. I listen to you every day, and I know I've got a lot of different answers, but that's the right answer right there.
That's the right answer. You can check with your estate planning attorney and with your tax person, and they will both confirm that this is actually one piece of tax law that I do know. Most of it I don't, but that one I do know, inside and out.
That's so good. I feel like I'm learning something. And I think that's just such a gift to give such clear instructions upon death in the will.
Oh, it's so helpful. Because otherwise, it's always who shot John, right? So Mama said, last time I was with Mama, she said. And that's the way, these arguments go on forever. And it's like, you end up keeping some stupid piece of real estate because of some rumor of what Mama said, And so, no, you got to make it very clear. And in this case, we're talking about probably $150,000, $200,000 worth of difference in tax.
Ooh.
That one phone call.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's just such a highlight of, ask the questions. No question is dumb to ask you. I mean, maybe there are some dumb questions, but especially in the world of taxes and wills and leaving things to your heirs, these are important questions to ask. That literally could have just saved her so much money.
Yeah, and the beauty of it is, obviously she's sharp as a tack.
Right.
No question about that lady. She on game on right there. But she's got a will. She's built $1 million estate. She's a millionaire sitting there in Phoenix. She's watching the Phoenix market like a hawk. This woman's not sitting back drinking Ovaltine. I'm just saying. She's getting her done, man. I love it. So she's cool. And that's who we want to be when we grow up when we're 80.
I know.
You want to be a millionaire managing the estate for tax efficiency. Wow. Woo. Very sophisticated there. Very well done, Barbara. Very well done. And that's the thing. Everyone, you guys need a will. If you're over 18 years old, you need a will. If you hate the people that you're in your family, leave unclear instructions and no will, because they will all fight the rest of their lives over your crap. And it'll cost them like an extra bazillion dollars in attorney's fees and court costs. It'll all get tied up in court and delayed. Oh, yeah, you can completely screw up people's lives leaving them your stuff poorly.
And if you love them, do the opposite.
Crystal clear, detailed game plan. Signed, notarized, and witnessed wills. Go to mamabearlegalforms.com. Get your stinking will in place. This is The Ramsey Show. Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information. Christina Ellis, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. For 30 years, we've taught people how to live like no one else so that one day they can give like no one else and live like no one else. And as it turns out, the world is full of generous people. There's even a special day to recognize it. It's Giving Tuesday. To celebrate, we want to share one way you can show radical generosity and have a huge impact on kids across the country. Think back to when you first learned the baby steps and how to handle your money the right way. You probably thought, I wish I'd learned this when I was in high school. Our Foundations in Personal Finance curriculum is the money course you wish you'd had then, and it's been in 48% of America's high schools. But thousands of schools every year can't teach it because they don't have the funds. Through our curriculum sponsorship program, businesses and individuals team up with us to sponsor the curriculum into a high school they choose. So you might send it like your old high school or something, or your old high school and your rival old high school or whatever, that kind of stuff, right? You can sponsor curriculum for one or two students or a whole school or a whole city. We've had businesses take on the whole city lots of times. If you're willing to live and give like no one else. So you can sponsor for an entire school. Give today. Go to RamseySolutions.com/sponsor. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. Find out why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Free samples, free shipping, new promos all the time. Always use the promo code Ramsey to get the best possible deal.
Today's question comes from Peter in Alabama. My wife got accepted into the nurse practitioner program at the University of Alabama and will start in January. This program is highly competitive and will more than double her pay when she graduates. We started the baby steps about a month ago and are on baby step 2. We have decided that student loans are not an option for us, and we're going to cash flow her school. We have researched scholarships, grants, employer-paid programs, and looked at your resources, but have not had much luck with finding help for students in a graduate school program. Hoping you can point us in the right direction because any little bit will help. It's very interesting. I would definitely have more questions about where they are in baby step 2 and kind of what the reality is, but I would also have a challenge to say, how much have you searched? First of all, finding money for graduate school is more difficult than undergrad. There's not as much funding available, so it does take some digging. A lot of people do end up having to cash flow it through their job. But I would also encourage you to look, especially with nursing, at different employers that are offering tuition assistance. You said you've already looked at that, but I happen to know that UAB Medicine, University of Alabama Medicine, has an awesome tuition assistance program. So if you haven't looked into that, I would definitely encourage you to go ahead and see if that's an option. The reality is, I think a lot of people give up too easy when it comes to looking for money to pay for college. They look for scholarships for an hour or two, or they quickly do a Google search and they don't see something immediately and they go, well, there's nothing out there, and they get frustrated. But the truth is it takes time. You have to be willing to dig and dig and dig until you find a solution that works for you. I love that you've taken student loans off the table because that's step 1. If you don't have that as an option, you either, one, are going to have to really dig and figure out what it's going to take, whether that's working your tail off to be able to cash flow it, digging for scholarships, looking for employer tuition programs, or perhaps you may need to look at a different program or put pause for a little bit, hit pause until you can afford to pay for it with cash. I just think being willing to take that extra step to continue strategizing is so key.
Yeah, but I think you say, until I have invested 40 hours, and you log the hours, Searching, scratching, emailing, texting, going through computers, talking to people until you've spent 40 solid hours working on scholarships. You haven't really looked yet. 4 minutes with a Google search does not count.
That does not count. There's not a magic button. If that were the case,
everyone would go get a scholarship.
Exactly. And there's not enough scholarship money out there for everyone to get a full ride, especially for grad school. It's a limited resource. So if you want to be the person to get it, you got to be willing to put in the time and effort. It's a hard reality because I wish there was enough money for everyone to go debt-free with scholarships, but scholarships specifically, there's a limited pool. Now there is, I believe anybody can get a debt-free education if they're willing to hustle and grind and look for employer tuition assistance.
So if her pay is more than double when she graduates, she's probably already a nurse.
Right.
Is that what we're saying?
That's what I'm inferring.
So yeah, I think I would change jobs and go to work for somebody that pays for it.
UAB is a great option.
It's called a huge raise when they start paying for your nurse practitioner school and the other place doesn't. Even if you took a pay cut, but you got all your tuition free, ding, ding.
Well, and even same thing with scholarships, how you're like, until you've spent 40 hours, until you've called every single hospital in town, until you've called every doctor's office, anyone who could possibly need a nurse, like you haven't put in the work yet.
That will, if you're currently a nurse and they don't have tuition payment or tuition assistance that's substantial, then shop your job.
100%.
And I would change jobs because you're going to change jobs anyway when you finish the nurse practitioner thing. And so go do that. And it's the guy who takes a job as a groundskeeper at the university, but the university gives all employees free tuition to their children. I'm gonna go cut grass, buddy.
Heck yeah.
And for a period of time here, because that's the best paid lawn care guy on the planet right now if you put 3 kids through there, right? I mean, you know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. So you just think about it differently for a short period of time and you plug yourself into that. This is not a way of life for a decade. This is a thing to do to get there.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a temporary change, for long-term benefits.
Daniel is in Chicago. Hi, Daniel. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing? Hey, I recently got married. I've been with my now wife for about 10 years. She's going to graduate dental school in May. She's bringing in about $750,000 in student loans.
Good
Lord. Other than that, she's got a
I'm sorry. What is her degree? What did she go with $750,000 in debt for?
Dentist.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it's a good school, but it's expensive.
You have no idea what you just said.
Yeah. I've got about $40,000 in debt from what seems like you guys call normal debt, credit cards, car, stuff like that. She's going to make good money, but it's just I can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's how do we dig ourselves out of that hole?
And you said she's graduated, or she's still in school?
No, she will graduate in May.
Does she have a job lined up, or what's your plan for after graduation?
So I'm not too savvy on all that. She's waiting for some sort of thing that she needs before she can start applying. It's pretty much is like her credentials to show off to future employers. So she's waiting for that before she starts applying. But in the market, she's been looking already. It seems like she's going to start off somewhere between $175 to $225 a year.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's the thing. I can tell by the language you're using in your sentence structure that you guys have not grasped how devastating a situation you're in. And with that, what a huge mistake this was. And part of solving this is going to be that you say out loud, and she says out loud, what has happened here, it's in the rearview mirror, and I'm not trying to shame her, but you have, in order to run away from a problem, you first have to realize that it's a problem. And the language you're using is minimizing this like you owe $30 to somebody or something, and it's no big deal, but it was a good school. It's not a good school. She paid double what she should have paid for her dentistry degree. Double. she got screwed.
Yep.
She got screwed. And you guys are up a creek. You're in a real mess. So if you will live like you're absolute poor people and go make $300,000 or $400,000 between the two of you, you can pay this off in maybe 3 years and get your life back. Or you can be a normal dentist and keep this around for the next 2 decades. And that's what most dentists do. The dental degrees are the most overcharged, overpriced degree of every degree out there right now. And this one is double the normal one. Wow.
Ouch.
This is The Ramsey Show. Christina Ellis, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Sierra is with us. Sierra is in Kansas City. Hi, Sierra. How are you?
Hey, doing great. Just want to give a quick shout out to Austin in the booth. He is awesome.
Oh, he's amazing. He's absolutely amazing. He actually he actually runs the company, but we don't tell anybody.
I would believe it.
How can we help?
So my husband and I, we went through financial peace in the end of September, all 9 lessons in like 9 days.
Perfect.
And we have been chugging along for 2 months now. We're in baby step 2, and we've paid off 18% of our total debt. So we are fired up.
Boom, boom.
Yes.
But looking ahead, our lease is up in April, and we're not going to be able to stay here. It's just not going to meet our needs. And just like you told us in financial peace, we're seeing our credit score dropping, which we expected.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to rent in our area, we got to maintain at least some credit, which I hate. I'm ready to be done with it.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Okay.
Completely not true. Listen, we had one of our personalities call 10 or 15 of the apartment complexes in our area, and our area is very similar to yours, and ask them if they required a credit score in order to move in, and only 1 out of 10 said they did.
Requiring a credit score, but what about if our credit score hasn't disappeared yet?
Well, I think you just sit down with the
April.
manager and you say, I've got a low credit score because I'm paying off all my debts and I'm working the Dave Ramsey plan, and they will gladly lease to you with a deposit. Okay? And if, and especially if you're working with an individual landlord that has an individual house. That's not a corporation, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like if you can't, I've got a bunch of houses. If you came to a guy like me and said, listen, you're going to find my credit score is 645, but it's not because I have bad credit. It's because I'm paying off everything and my credit score is dying. I'm trying to kill it. We would be going,
right.
Yes. What's the best tenant? One that doesn't have any other debt. They can pay the rent.
Very, very true. So I guess that is definitely probably the best option. We had 2 things that we came up with. I wanted to kind of run by you to see what you think.
Okay.
So knowing that we're going to be moving in April, we were thinking either 1, go into storm mode, pile up all the money until we have moved, and then just press play and throw that all on the debt again. Or
why do you need a pile of money to rent?
We have to get a deposit. We have to get all of that kind of stuff together.
Well, you have to plan to be able to do that, but I don't know that you need to have $15,000 or something.
Right. I guess I'm still thinking of it like my credit score issue. So you're right. So if I'm not worried about the credit, then it doesn't matter.
Do you think, Dave, it would be a good exercise for her to go ahead and start calling apartment complexes today so she can, 1, work through the credit score fears, and then 2, figure out exactly what her deposit is going to need to be?
Yeah, that's good planning. And if you've got to stop or slow down your debt snowball in order to have the money to make the move, that's fine. But now, listen, what's your current rent?
Currently, we're renting at $1,200 a month.
Okay. And so if you go up in rent, you're going to slow down your whole life.
Right. We're not looking to really go much. We're looking to stick around this.
Okay, good.
The thing is, where we're at in the market, what we're paying for isn't equivalent to things around us for the same price.
There you go.
And we're
Okay.
looking to start a family, so we need something better.
Okay. That's fine. There's no problem with that at all. Yeah, just as long as you're staying in that same price range. And go ahead and start calling some places and look at some of the newspapers, $1,500 or $1,300 or whatever like that, and you go, okay, here's the move I'm going to make, and just call them and shop it, like Christina said, and that helps you put your budget together.
Well, and they may say, you need 2 months as a deposit, and then you have that clarity. You set aside $2,500, and then you continue with the debt snowball, because I love how aggressive you've been. The fact that you've already tore through 18% is amazing, and I don't want you to lose that momentum just holding on to the money, kind of getting complacent and waiting all the way till April. I think you guys can, set aside the deposit and then continue with, so much fire in your belly that you don't slow that down.
Okay, so we have a reality.
Yeah,
the reality is the move. And let's let facts be our friends, not theory and hyperbole and drama.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that's kind of my biggest fear is I don't want to lose the momentum that we have going, because we are on fire.
Yeah, don't oversteer. Don't overcorrect to make the move, in other words. And so we're going to shut down, and then we have $17,000 and we needed $4,000 to make the move. No, that would be silly. That's oversteering, right? But if you do a little bit of research, you figure we need $3,000, we need $3,800 to make this move, and then we're going to get our deposit back when we move, and we get that deposit back, we'll throw it at the debt. We just play a little cash game here with hide the pea under the shell, and then that's just good planning. But the unknown sometimes makes us oversteer and go into drama mode.
Right. And drama mode can stop that momentum. I love that you called, because you can hear it in your voice. You are on fire. It gets me fired up just hearing you talk. So
Get it.
Yeah. Get it.
Well done. Amy's in Sacramento. Hi, Amy. How are you? Amy?
Hello. Sorry about that. Yeah,
Hey.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. How are you?
Thank you so much for taking my call. I really appreciate it. I'm new to the Baby Ramsey steps, and I wish I knew about this a month before I bought my house. So my question is, did I buy my house on a emotional level, and should I have stepped back? So my question now is, do I gracefully determine how to get out of this house, or do I make peace with myself and plan to save so that I eventually can stay here for quite a while?
So what emotions were you feeling when you bought the house?
So about 7 months ago, my husband died, and I have 3 children. One is 20, the other's 17, and one is 11. And so I was, feeling all kinds of feelings, and it's been, a little bit hard.
Sure.
Dealing with everything going on. The other rationale is we were also separated for about 3 years, and it was not an amicable. My divorce was never finalized, but I felt like, I definitely need to find stability for my 3 children. I want to make sure that all the changes that's going on since the divorce, and then especially now, that they're attending the same school, the same district, and just have a stable home, because I was renting after I separated.
Yeah, Amy,
so
I'm so sorry what you've been through. I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
What did you pay for the house?
I did pay for the house.
I said, what did you pay for it? How much?
Well, it was like $765,000.
Okay, and what did you get a mortgage, or you used life insurance, or how did you pay for it?
So he had no life insurance. I've always been the breadwinner my entire life. And when we separated, I paid alimony and child support as well. So that's the other rationale for why I felt like I deserved
I'm not questioning, right? I'm just trying to figure out the math, okay?
Sure.
There's a lot of reasons that are valid for you to have emotion around this. So what is your payment on your house?
Right now I'm paying, December 1 will be my very first payment. I'm paying right about $5,000 a month.
$5,000 a month, okay. And what is your income?
Currently I make about $120,000.
Okay.
Now,
Honey,
with that being
honey,
said,
I can just stop.
Mhm.
You have other income coming in?
yes, I was just about to mention I have Social Security and a small pension from him.
That amounts
So
to
that's,
how much?
About $4,500 a month.
Okay, so your take-home pay is about $12,000, right?
With
all
after
this.
taxes.
With all this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Your house payment is very high.
Yes.
It's very high. I'm so sorry you're in this situation. I'm so sorry how you got here. But regardless of how you got there or what your motives were or your reasons for getting there, your house payment is very high. And you know that, and that's why you called. So I don't want to add pain to a life that's full of pain already, but I want you to really look at that and begin thinking about it. Christine Ellis, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Okay. Financial counseling life hack moment. I just created a new segment for the show. From having done this, financial coaching, for 30 plus years, and having done it one-on-one, kneecap to kneecap to kneecap many times, started years ago doing it as a ministry in our church just to help people, and they would come in and I'd sit down, help them do their budget and help them do this stuff, and it evolved into this whole thing that we all call Ramsey now. One of the things that I've seen over and over and over again, and it's so much so that it's almost a stereotype, it's not always true, and generalizations are always dangerous, but I'll give you a generalization. I'll tell you what happens a lot. And this is a life hack for those of you out there and you're facing it. It comes from our last caller, okay? A couple with 2 little kids in elementary school go through a divorce. Now, right, wrong, or indifferent, here's the math. Most of the time, the husband makes more money than the wife. Not saying that's right, I'm just saying it's factual, okay? Typically, I sit down with a couple, 2 jobs. Sometimes it's the other way around, but oftentimes the husband makes more money than the wife, or she's a stay-at-home mom, which of course he makes more money than she makes at that point. Going through a divorce with little kids in the home, going through a divorce period is an absolute, it's walking through hell, barefooted. I mean, it's awful. It's a horrible thing. It's hard on mom, it's hard on dad, it's hard on family, it's hard on friends, it's hard on your church community, it's hard on your kids, it's hard on everybody. Everybody in the mix is hurting. No one's thinking clearly. And everyone's trying to take their little corner of the world and keep it sane in the middle of massive insanity. And here's what normally happens. Mom and dad split up. We now don't have a 2-income family, or now we have a lady. And mom, the lady in the divorce, with less income, certainly than she had before, but less income than he makes normally, wants to keep the house that they bought based on his income being in the picture, in order that the children can stay in the school, because their lives are already upheavaled, their lives are already upside down, and to make them move and have to change schools in the middle of all that makes it almost unbearable for Mother Bear. And Mother Bear just wants to protect. And in the name of that, in the divorce settlement, she gets the house with payments that she can't afford. And so she has traded one kind of stress, unbeknownst, and with good noble intent, she's traded the stress of the children having to move and being uprooted out of a school to the children living in a household that is absolutely starving to death and broke due to a house payment they can't afford. And so it became something that almost every single week I had the horrible job of sitting and looking at Mama Bear and explaining to her the best thing you can do for your children is to uproot them and live in a house you can afford after this is clear, because you cannot afford this house. You are you're trying to hold on to a picture, as Dr. John Deloney says, of what was and make it what is, and it is not there anymore. And you cannot support this house payment on half of the income or less than half of the income or way less than half of the income in most cases. It ends up being, in an effort to keep the kids stabilized in a highly volatile situation in their schools, you end up destabilizing them for the next decade because they're living with a single mom now who's working 3 jobs trying to keep a house that she can't afford so that they can not have to trade schools. You traded one kind of destabilization, one kind of stress in the house for the kids for another kind, unintentionally, with noble intent. You're trying to protect your children, but you're making a bad decision. Sell the house in the divorce. Almost always sell the house in the divorce. Now, our last caller was different. They were separated. He passed away. And in the middle of all that, she bought a house she couldn't afford. That's a little different. But it still had the same net result. We've still got an 11-year-old and an older teenager, a 16 or 17, living in a house full of stress. And you could hear it in her voice. It was sad.
It was very sad. And you could hear the remorse, too.
Yeah, I made a mistake. You could feel it. Yeah, because she did make a mistake. And it's not to shame her or to beat her up, because I've done dumber things, believe me. But you know, what you have to be careful of is that in the middle of all of that crisis, Dr. John talks about this all the time, that our critical thinking skills break down. We just grab at anything that feels stable, trying to keep some version of our past life that we liked still intact going forward. And in a lot of cases, that takes the form of keeping the house after the divorce. And the house is a house we can't afford. And it's like trying to swim with an anchor tied around your ankle and keep your head above water for the next decade. And that's why I run into a lot of divorcee ladies with little kids at home. They're getting child support, maybe they're getting alimony, but they're working 3 jobs to try to support a house payment to create this false sense of stability while being unstable.
Right.
You know, with the kids. And it's just so sad because the intent is so sweet. It's such a mama bear wonderful thing to think about, to protect the kids and the noble to take the kids, but you're really not accomplishing your goal.
Right, because what the kids need more than anything is you. They need your presence.
Yeah.
They need your peace. And if you're stressed about money, if you can't afford your house payment, you're not going to be who you want to be in that
They would
situation.
rather you be at home after work instead of going to your second and third job than go to that school.
100%.
Kids change schools all the time. Ask people in the military. Ask people in corporate America that move every 2 years. Kids change schools all the time. And they survive, and some of them even thrive in that situation. And so, you know, it's a falsehood to say, well, they're going to lose all their friends. They're 11. They're going to be okay. But you're bringing another kind of damage, another kind of stress into their lives in an effort to protect the other one. That's an unintended consequence. There was no one doing this. It was not selfish greed. It was not some, selfish princess that bought something that she couldn't afford. This is a mama trying to take care of her kids. So it's the highest of all motives, the most noble of all motives, but it's still ending in an unintended consequence that is actually worse than what they were trying to protect from.
Right. Whew. And I think it highlights just that need to slow down when you're in those situations, when your critical thinking has gone down, you're in crisis mode, to slow down, because it is so easy to grasp at straws, to grasp at things that you think will help. But just taking that time to breathe and to, just let what logic can come back.
Yeah, it's almost like it's really scary to rescue someone that's drowning because they can drown you. Because they're just flailing around out there, and there's a little bit of that going on, And so This is just a life hack. It's a generalization. It's not always true. I have talked to people that, they divorce a guy who's got $20 million and he leaves them $18 million and they go pay cash for a house. Well, shut up. That's not who I'm talking about, okay? That's not the thing. Or in the divorce, I get, he makes $1 million a year and I get alimony of, enough to pay the payments and still have plenty of margin. And that's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about a typical template is not any of those things. A typical template is still in America, right or wrong. It's not right. Ladies ought to make as much for the same job as a man makes. I'm not that guy. So, but in most households, mom does not out-earn dad in America today, still. And so when she ends up with a house with a lesser income, and she oftentimes can't afford it. So that's a life hack for you. As painful as it feels like in the moment, the best long-term play is sell the house. It's just a house. It's just a school. There's schools and houses everywhere. This is The Ramsey Show. Dave here. You can find all of our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. It's the only place to listen to the entire back catalog of episodes. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios. It's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. We help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Christina Ellis, #1 best-selling author, Ramsey personality, is my co-host today. Our phone number is 888-825-5225. Aurora is with us in Portland, Oregon. Hi, Aurora. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you.
Good. How can we help today?
So the last couple of weeks I've been kind of, been watching all of your guys' stuff on YouTube.
Thank you.
I actually found you guys on TikTok.
Oh.
And, yeah. And I've just been kind of, the last couple of months I've been really trying to get settled and pay off debt. And just seems like any way that I try, I can't. And I always refer back to living paycheck to paycheck. And I'm kind of over it. I don't feel like I'm content where I am in life. And so I feel like part of that is just having so much debt and, having kids to take care of and wanting to plan for them. And I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do anymore.
Boy, I like you. You're in a really, really good place. Thank you for calling.
And I like you just because you mentioned to Dave that you found us through TikTok. Dave loves TikTok.
It's funny.
I'm not sure if that speaks poorly of you or of me, but one of the two. Okay.
I love it, yeah. And it's actually my birthday today, so I'm like,
well,
what?
Happy birthday. Glad you got through.
Thank you. Like, if it's not today, then I don't know what day.
Yeah, it's a great day to call. So walk us through the debt. How much debt do you have?
Well, I paid off quite a bit now, but I have about $21,000, I would say, between my partner and I, that we still need to pay off, and most of it is credit card debt.
So you said you paid it off. Tell us about the debt you paid off.
So back, when they were giving the unemployment during COVID, it took months for me to get my checks because everything was so behind. And when I finally got my claim, it wasn't that much. I paid off my car. I was like, this is one thing that I need to, get rid of because God forbid I, can't work anymore. I can't find another job.
Well,
I need that, I need that to get around.
Yeah, well, I just want to stop and applaud you for that, because the fact that you're already, wheels in motion, you paid off your car. That's great.
Yeah.
So what's your income?
Yeah. Between my partner and I, we make about $5,500.
Okay, let me stop a second. Are you married?
No, we're not. We live together, though.
Okay. All right. So legally, you have a roommate. And
Yeah.
from the handling of your money, that's the way the law is going to look at it.
Right, yeah.
So you pay off your partner's debt, you get 0 credit for that with the law.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're combining your money with your roommate is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because of where you stand legally. So how much,
Mm-hmm.
the $21,000, is that all in your name?
No.
Okay,
10,
what is in your name?
10,000, right. 10,000.
Okay, what is that on?
That is credit card debt.
Okay.
All of it.
And good. And you paid off your car. Way to go. And what do you make?
I make a month is about $2,200.
Okay. All right. Good for you. And how old are you?
I'm 28.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm an elementary school secretary.
Oh, well, thank you for your service. Thanks for what you do for the kiddos. Okay, so if you've been watching the videos, are you familiar with the term gazelle intense?
No, I'm not yet.
Dave, can you do your Dave explanation of it? You do it the best.
Okay. So here's the thing. What we have figured out is that personal finance is 80% behavior. It's 20% head knowledge. And so for your partner with their money, we'll tell them to do exactly the same thing you're doing, but not combined.
Right.
But not combined. Okay. So we'll have the same result that you're looking for, but when you combine them, you leave yourself open to other problems that we don't want to get into. Okay, like who bought the mustard or whatever, all that garbage, right? So now, if personal finance is 80% behavior, that means when I get control of me, I have the best possible control and of my outcome with my money. The more intense I get, the deeper I sacrifice, and the deeper I sacrifice, the more money goes towards cleaning up the mess, and the quicker I get stabilized and moving towards wealth. So in other words, if you goof around with this stuff and sort of kind of do it, and you still go out to eat, and you still go on vacation, and you still buy a bunch of crap that hasn't got anything to do with the goal of getting rid of these credit cards, it's going to take twice as long, and you're going to be half as likely to ever even do it.
Right. And
but if you get so intense that it's
exactly what I've been doing.
Yeah, if you get so intense that it's like you're going to die if you don't get rid of this credit card debt in 5 months, then you're going to work 6 jobs, and you're going to eat ramen noodles, and you're not going to do nothing but work and get out of debt, because that's intense and sacrifice. And that's what we mean by gazelle intense, like the gazelle running from the cheetah. Doesn't want to be eaten and doesn't want to be killed. They're running for their freaking lives. This is not an intellectual discussion. This is very visceral. It's bone marrow. You are going for it, right? And that's there's something that happens in 30 years of me doing this when people get that level of pissed off, that they're willing to cut everything, that their friends think they've lost their minds, they think you've joined a cult, then you're on track. So you need to get out the credit cards when you get off the phone and chop them all up into little bitty pieces, every one of them. And you need to get on a written budget, and you need to get another job or 6. And you're not going out to eat, and you're not going to see the inside of a restaurant unless you're working there. And you're not going on vacation. All you're doing is getting out of debt. Because how's it going to feel when you don't have any debt? It's going to feel really good. How's it going to feel when you don't have any debt and have $10,000 in the bank? It's going to feel really good. We call that financial peace.
Yes.
But you're going to pay a price to get there. You're going to have to live like no one else. So later you can live and give like no one else, okay? That's what Christina's talking about.
Yeah, and I'm super encouraged. When you split things out, you've got $10,000. You've got $2,200 a month, and you're 28 years old. You can work 6 jobs.
Well,
you can make the sacrifices. You can do this quickly.
You're working in elementary school. It's over 3:30. You got time to do 3 more jobs. I mean, you really do. I mean, you can go make some serious money. And there's people hiring out there like crazy right now. Big time. So, and you don't have to do this forever. You just do it for a short period of time. It's a sprint. You just bust it for a short period of time. Hang on, Aurora. We like you. We're going to put you through our class called Financial Peace University. We're going to pay for it. Watch those classes. Hold on. I'm going to pay for you to have a membership. You watch every one of them and do every single thing we said to do, and you'll be wealthy. Up to you. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey, all you procrastinators, listen up. We've extended our Cyber Monday sale where you can get our best prices of the year on your favorite products. This week only, best-selling books and tools for as low as $5. Not exactly jacked up for inflation. But you got to hurry. I think we jacked it down. Maybe it's a recession. These deals end this week. You can shop our quick reads like my latest, The Momentum Theorem, Dr. John Deloney's Redefining Anxiety, all under $10. Our number one bundle, the Starter Special, has everything you or a loved one needs to start working the baby steps, and it's only 77% off this week. And our extended Cyber Monday sale includes my book, Baby Steps Millionaires, number one bestseller, for $10 on how to be a millionaire. This is the season to share the hope we have with others. You can get almost any of these books, Rachel Cruz, Ken Coleman, Dave Ramsey, Dr. John Deloney, and on and on and on for $10 or less. Do the hard thing. Share your experience. Give them a meaningful gift. Cyber Monday continues all week long. RamseySolutions.com. RamseySolutions.com. Kara is with us. Kara is in Milwaukee. Hi, Kara. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. How can we help?
So I was recently let go from my job about 3 weeks ago, and I was the breadwinner for the family. My husband and I both work, but yeah, I brought in about $3,000 more than he did, which is quite a bit. And now I'm trying to figure out, I do have another job lined up, but it was a pretty big pay cut from what we're used to. So I'm trying to figure out if I should borrow money from my 401k to stay afloat.
Absolutely not.
Because I kind of knew you were going to say that because I've listened to you for a long time.
So what does your husband make?
So he makes about $45,000 a year.
And what did you make at the other job that fired you?
$86,000.
What do you do?
I was a transportation supervisor for a chemical company.
Okay. And so you're you're running distribution or what? I don't understand.
So the company produces things like epoxy and bleach, stuff like that, and then I organize the transportation for all of that across the country, the world, stuff like that.
Okay. So you're in a supply chain of sorts. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How long had you done that?
I was there for 6 years.
Okay.
And what's the new job? What's the new possibility?
So the new job is kind of the same thing. It's a freight broker, but it's for different products. So not hazardous, not chemicals, just like dry goods, and arranging the freight for other companies who could call.
Yeah. What's the pay?
It's $55,000 plus commission.
Not good enough. You need to keep looking.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've been out of work. You've been out of work a whole 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Here, let me tell you, okay, what normally happens to normal humans is that getting fired or getting laid off, whatever term, downsized, right-sized, whatever you want to call it, is it's a gut punch. It knocks the breath out of you. It takes some of your confidence. And then you look at your budget and your lowered confidence state of mind, and your budget is super tight and super scary. We stir those two things together and we get freak out mode going.
Yes.
Which causes you to take a job quick, too cheap. You're better than this other job, this new job, aren't you?
Yes, I believe I am.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you need to go make something like $86,000 again. And in the meantime, I want you to do weird, crazy side jobs during Christmas, and your husband too, so that you're not in freak out mode. But I want you to jump on KenColeman.com on his website and study everything on his thing. I'm going to send you his 2 books, Proximity Principle, which is how you land a lead for the right kind of job. It's probably how you got this lead because it's in the same industry you were in or the same type of field. And it's somebody you knew, you were in proximity to. You didn't get this out of an ad on LinkedIn, right?
Correct.
Yeah, you got it because you knew somebody. Oh, and by the way, they might want you bad enough to pay you 80 instead of 55.
Yeah.
When you decide to walk away instead of taking it. Say, I think I'm worth this in the market. I understand that's what you're paying. I'm not trying to be insulting to you, but I think I can get this doing this job. I got 8 years of experience of organizing transportation nationwide, worldwide, to cause products to be delivered on time. And people that can run schedules like that, they don't grow on trees. They're not everywhere. And I'm sitting here with all this experience, and I can make your operation hum, but I can't do it for 55. I can do it for 85.
And do you guys have an emergency fund?
So we actually, my husband and I did start going back through the baby steps. So I took the course, the financial peace course, probably like 8 years ago at this point. And that's where I laid out my budget, which I still use today. And then I got married. We had another kid. So all this stuff, and we kind of got off track.
Yep.
So we started over. So we do have a very small savings, and we're going back through our debt snowball. He didn't believe in the debt snowball, so I made him watch these videos and listen to one of your audiobooks and all this stuff, and he's like, okay, I'm on board for it. And then I got terminated. So we were there, and we're trying to stay there, but it's hard wanting to stay there with all of the bills.
So if you both of you go get 2 good paying extra jobs for 30 days, instead of tapping your 401k, and you go get a job making the money you're actually worth, Kara, you are worth $80,000 to $90,000 a year. In this job environment where there's a shortage of labor, where it is hard to find good people who are willing to work, you are worth that, and you can get that job. It's out there. Okay? And I don't want you to settle, and I would rather you have him deliver pizzas and you do Uber Eats or whatever it is you guys do for extra money, right? Really.
Yeah.
I'd rather you do that for 30 days and get a job making 90 than to get a job making 55 because you got scared right after you got gut punched.
Yep.
And go down to a bare bones budget. I'm encouraged to hear that you're on a budget, but cut out everything.
Everything.
Yep.
You can't afford to eat out. You're broke. You're living on $45,000 a year. And you used to have 120.
My church was kind enough to give us a gift card for the grocery store and set up a meal train, so that has been
Amen.
such a help for us.
Yeah, there's no shame in that at all. And you can do that for someone else. If you live and give like no one else, later you can live and give like no one else. You'll be in a position to return that and pay it forward. So I want you to do all of that, and we're going to help you too. I'm going to send you Ken Coleman's 2 books. One's Paycheck to Purpose, and the other one is Proximity Principle. And there's a bunch of free stuff on how to put together the proper resume, how to write the proper letter, and how to come in contact with the people that are going to lead you to the next job. Because what you need are more options, and the options are going to come when you get your swagger back, and you are deserving of swagger.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I'm also going to send you the Momentum Theorem, which is my last little quick read. I'm going to send you so many books all you're going to just be reading, okay? But give you something to do. And the Momentum Theorem, one of the things we start out with in that is when things are going super good, you got momentum, you're not as good as you look. Things are better than you are. When things are going super bad, you're not as bad as you look. You're better than the circumstances indicate. And that's where you're living right this second. You are better than your circumstances indicate. And you need to hear someone that's outside of the forest say that to you. And I just said that to you, and I love you, and I want you to win. So you hold on. Austin's going to pick up. We're going to give you those 3 books, Momentum Theorem, Paycheck to Purpose, and proximity principal, KenColeman.com, will send you where you need to go to get all kinds of goodies, to resumes, ideas, everything, how to the letter to write to get in the door, the email to write to get in the door, all that kind of stuff. It's all right there. It's all helpful on career stuff. This is The Ramsey Show. Christina Ellis, #1 best-selling author, Ramsey personality, is my co-host. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Corey and Kimberly are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Great. Hi. How are you?
Great. Welcome to Nashville. Where do
Thank
you live?
You. We live in Sandusky, Ohio.
Ah, fun. Good to have you. Welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Good. So how much debt have you paid off?
$270,000. That was our business loan that we bought. We had like a Pepperidge Farm franchise that they're like little routes that you buy. So we bought that. My whole family's actually in the business, and like my dad owned the territory, and then I bought it from him, or part of it anyways, the bakery part of it, and then my other brother runs the Snyder's and all that. So it's a whole big family affair. We do that, and then we did that in 2019. We bought that, and that was $162,000 that we bought, and then
in 2020, March of 2020, we bought our house.
Oh.
Yeah.
Literally the week of COVID, when everything was falling apart.
The week of COVID. It was crazy.
We actually bought our house that
amazing.
week. So.
Like in the middle of March.
Like the week it went crazy.
March 20th. So.
Yeah.
When they said, "Go home, you're going to die."
Yeah,
We're like,
I remember that
we'll
week.
Stay home.
Wait a minute, I just bought a house.
I love it. Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. So that was.
So is this your house and everything?
Yes, that's everything.
So I'm looking at weird people. You're 100% debt free.
Yes.
Yep. 100%.
For life.
Way to go!
Yeah. And before our first child arrives.
I love it. Just in time. I love it.
Yes, sir.
So how long did this take?
Started in May of 2019, and then we paid it all off by September 30th of this year. So all of it completely.
So what does that end up? About 30 months? Does that sound about right? About 2.5 years?
Yeah,
say,
closer to 3, something like that.
Maybe closer to 3.
I'll call it 3. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't do it in my head right now. All right. So your range of income during that 3 years?
So when we first bought it, my whole route was doing like maybe $100,000 a year, and then it was consistent, I guess. But then COVID happened, and the whole world flipped upside down, and everybody stayed at home, and they were just eating and basically buying all of our
good
products.
For us.
So my route grew like crazy that year.
All the restaurants were closed, everything like that. So that helped us a lot.
That helped tremendously. And then I told her, I said, when we bought our house, I said, well, if you go and you make like extra couple $100 every week, that's enough to do a double payment.
Double payments every
and
month.
And just keep hammering on it. And so we did, and she kept working, and Bennett did Instacart for a little bit, worked at Chick-fil-A a little bit, and then
a few different jobs,
worked at a church doing ministry for a little bit. So
whatever it takes, huh?
That's right.
And now you're 100% free. So making 100 to over 200 at some point in the high point, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Good for you guys. Well done. Very well done. How's it feel to be completely free?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think of like everything going on in the world, and it's crazy from time to time. We sit there and I'm like, well, whatever happens if we go into a recession, it doesn't really matter because we're debt free. We don't have to worry about those burdens and payments, and so it's very exciting.
And another big goal was before our daughter came, we're having a girl, and we were just like, we really want to do this before we start having kids, and we tried for a little bit before we got her, and so the fact that we could do this before we even had any kids was a really big goal. So
that's super cool.
That's amazing.
I love the fact that I kept telling her over and over, I said, if we work really hard for like 2 or 3 years, we can just bust our butts and pay everything off. And I kept saying, live like no one else, just like your sign said over there.
We love that saying. We love it. We say it all the time.
I walked in and I was like, oh my gosh, it literally, I'm like,
I said, look at that sign.
It's worth it. It's worth it. It actually happened. We did it.
Yeah. I mean, at times it was like, but I'm like, it's worth it. It's worth it.
Oh, yeah. You guys did it, too, in a short period of time. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, there was at one point we were paying almost half our income in just paying off my route payment, our mortgage, and then after we paid that off, our route in June, I said, let's just hammer it all out on this thing. We were dropping like 10 grand a month into the house and just destroyed it. I mean,
more if we could at a time, but 10,000 at least. Yeah.
So what would you tell people is the key?
Determination. Well, God is everything. God is the center of it. We were dedicated to glorifying Him with our money, and then just keeping the perspective of big picture and seeing everything.
And I would say also little sacrifices at times. Like times we would tell our family we can't go out to eat, stuff like that. Like can't go with friends to do stuff, but we had the end goal in mind. So just keeping that stuff in mind as well.
Yeah, how old are you two?
I just turned 30. I literally told her, I said, I want to pay everything off by the time I'm 30. I turned 30 in beginning of November 2nd. And so.
And I'm 27.
Ah, very cool.
Yeah.
What's the house worth?
We bought it for $115, and we did a bunch of fixing up on that too. I don't even know what anything's worth. I'm guessing maybe 150, maybe more than that.
More.
But it's a little ranch. It's a little ranch house on 1,200 square foot. So.
It's 100% paid for, and it's 100% yours.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. Very few people have that experience in their life.
Yep.
I know.
And you guys did it by the time you were 30.
Yeah, we got a 15-year loan when we did it. I was like, well, if we can pay this off in like 5 years, and then I was like, forget that. Let's do it in 2.
Let's do it now. Let's do it now.
So
Game on.
Yeah. So take us back a little bit. Have you all always been good with money, or what really clicked that made you go, now is the
not
time?
me.
When we got married,
He's always been good, but not me.
I've always been a hard worker. I saved money, and my whole family's like that. My brothers and my parents and all that, and that's just the way we grew up. And then we got married, and she was kind of like, "What? This is not how I live with money."
But I was taught.
It's like, no, that's not the way we're gonna live. We're gonna do it this way.
Yep. And I'm so glad I learned because he's so right.
Way to go, you guys.
Yes.
We're proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Who were your biggest cheerleaders back home?
My parents, probably.
Yeah, definitely parents.
And my brother. Actually, at the end of it, when we were trying to pay off our house and finish our house up, my brother has this Snyder route, and he bought this thing like a year ago, 2 years ago. I don't even know what it was. And he was like, I'm going to pay mine off before you pay your house off. And he actually did beat me done. But I was like, who cares? We paid it all off. So.
Good competition.
Oh, they're so competitive.
Very competitive.
So competitive. Oh, my gosh.
And then my other brother, him and his wife, they had student loans they got from school, and they paid off $57,000 in like 7 months or 15.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot. So
the whole family's on the game.
Oh yeah. We're just we watch all your guys' like your videos, and we actually started doing. I did a Bible study. We were leading a Bible study, and we were doing Right Now Media Bible study, and it was one of your financial Bible studies was on there. I don't even know which one it was, and that was all the principles, and I was like teaching it, and I was like, well, I might as well go along with this and learn this and actually do it, not just teach it but actually live it out. So yeah, that was pretty awesome. So
yeah, might have been the one we put on YouVersion.
Yes.
With the YouVersion Bible app. That might be what it was,
Yeah.
Very cool. Good for you guys.
Thank you.
Very good stuff. Proud of you. We got a copy of the Live and Give bundle for you. That's the Total Money Makeover book, the Baby Steps Millionaires book. You're going to be there before you know it. And, of course, a 1-year membership to Financial Peace University. Any of that you don't need, obviously give it away and inspire someone else like your whole life has been an inspiration to other people. Very, very well done. And today you've been an inspiration to other people. Very cool. So excellent job. Good work. Corey and Kimberly, Sandusky, Ohio. $270,000 paid off in 36 months, making 100 to 200. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
Oh, we count it? Oh.
You're it.
I'm sorry. I thought you guys counted it. Okay.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Yeah! That's how it's done. That's the opposite of being 28 and overwhelmed by $10,000 worth of debt. An earlier call. Isn't it interesting, the math and the attitude, and how you just say, I'm going to kill that. I'm getting rid of that. Or this is killing me. Whether you're on top of it or it's on top of you. And it is it is the old Henry Ford quote oftentimes, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Hope, belief that it can be done if you go do the steps is actually more powerful than the math.
Yeah.
It really is. We see it. We've seen it for 30 years. We've seen it over and over and over and over again. Beautiful couple.
Beautiful couple. And I just love how their story highlights the importance of community. That competition,
that family,
healthy
man.
competition, that's so cool and so good. Y'all drove each other to do what was best for each of your individual situations, and that's awesome.
Hey, they're driving each other crazy in a good way. Good
The
stuff.
best kind of way.
Good stuff. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Psalm 16:11. You make known to me the path of life. In your presence there is fullness of joy. At your right hand are pleasures forevermore. Eleanor Roosevelt said, do not stop thinking of life as an adventure. You have no security unless you can live bravely, excitingly, imaginatively, unless you can choose a challenge instead of competence. Ooh, love it.
Good.
Love it. Get after it. Get after it. Change something. When in doubt, bust something. When in doubt, change something. And most people just live quiet desperation, as they say, lives of quiet desperation. This idea of I'm searching for stability. I'm searching for calm. Nah. Get it. Get after it. Chris is with us. Chris is in St. Louis. Hi, Chris. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
First thing, I think I need to give all the callers a little word of advice. If there's ever a debt-free screen right before you, you do not need to hold the phone up to your ear. Wow. Holy cow. I think my right ear might be bleeding, but that was pretty awesome. But anyways, along to the question. I'm just kind of curious. My wife and I, we're in 4, 5, and 6. I feel like we're doing a great job. We're kind of killing it, I feel like. But I don't know. I guess we did our emergency fund and set up our life insurance about 5 or 6 years ago. Since then, our debt has drastically gone down. We only have the mortgage, obviously, and our income has like doubled. So with having fewer payments, like that's, for instance, our 6-month emergency fund, if you take all of our expenses, it's about $15,000. We make a little over $200 now. So I feel like it's not a good ratio, but I mean, it is our 6 months.
It's not a ratio to your income, because it's an interesting thing, because what's happening is that what used to be an emergency when you were broke, you now cash flow it.
Oh, well, that's true. Yeah.
Because you blow out a tire, you just go buy a tire. You don't have to hit the emergency fund. But when you're broke, you're like, oh God, oh no, and you have this drama, and you go hit the emergency fund, right? Because you got no money, but you're making such good money, you're cash flowing a lot of bumps in the road, a lot of minor unexpected events that would be, when you're broke, qualified as an emergency. So that's the reason we use a ratio of expenses, not a ratio of income.
I see. Okay. Yeah, it just seemed like a small amount compared to our income. But like you said, if we can cash flow 90% of everything, it doesn't.
Yeah, and you've got a great income, and you've got other money. I mean, you got money going into retirement, seriously, and we're not going to cash that out for an emergency. But before you would get foreclosed on, you would.
Right. Okay. Well, that makes sense. And then another kind of on the same lines, we set up our life insurance at that whenever we were both making. We were making like 100 total. So right now, which we're, I guess, 5 years into the 20-year term, we have 500 on each of us. Well, my wife makes like 80, I make 120. So, I mean, do we need to...
How old are you guys?
Because we're 35, both of us.
Healthy?
Oh, yeah.
Overweight?
No.
Smoke?
Nope.
Wow. another 500 of 15-year level term won't cost you anything hardly.
Okay.
Yeah, go to xanderinsurance.com and quote it, and you'll be going, it's the cost of a dadgum pizza.
Right.
And so I'm going to add another 500 just for the fun of it. I mean, you can split it up however you want to, but because it's not that she has to have 120 if you die, income replacement, but it doesn't cost that much to provide that.
Okay, yeah.
Again, as a percentage of 200,000, what you're going to spend on this policy is almost nothing.
I see. Okay. And I guess it doesn't really matter. Well, I guess I'm talking about expenses again, because like we should have our house paid off in like a year.
Yeah, this is almost in the area of luxury. It's not necessarily in the area of necessity, okay? But the idea is, if you die, how do you want to leave your wife? I want to leave her making $120,000 a year off of investments, because it didn't cost me anything but the cost of a pizza to do that.
All right. Well, that makes sense.
But does she have to have that to live? Oh my God, no. I mean, she could live on half that easy. If she could make it easy on half, you got $500,000 on you, she'd be just fine. She had $50,000 coming in plus her 80. She'd have $100 and something thousand coming in. She'd be just fine. With that if you don't up it. But when you price it, you're going to go, it's a non-issue.
Okay. Well, yeah. We were just kind of looking over the big picture, and I'm like, man, I feel like our life insurance and our emergency fund are just very small now compared to what we're making now. But
it is.
Yeah.
And it gets smaller over as you're. The other thing you're going to look up one day and you're going to go, I got $1 million or $1.5 million in my 401k. And then you're going to go, I probably don't need any insurance now. She's going to be just fine if I die. And you get to the point the insurance you don't need because you're out of debt and you've become self-insured with financial planning.
Yeah. I think it's so cool. These are the fun financial conversations to have. These are the conversations you have in 4, 5, and 6. So for all of you who are feeling frustrated in baby step 2, having conversations about the debt snowball, someday you get to have conversations, about should I up the emergency fund because my income is so high, and, just talking about killing it in 4, 5, and 6. I think it's inspiring to hear you guys at this point having these conversations, because this is a time where you can feel joy when talking about your finances.
Yeah, I mean, what's the next step for them? The next step is they're in 7.
Yeah, it's about a year away.
They paid off their house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the house is paid off. Now they got almost zero expense. They got zero debt. Okay, then we start looking at what does it take her to live? What's it take him to live in the event of a death? It's diminished greatly. What's it take to operate our household expenses to emergency fund? $15,000 is a lot then laying around. I mean, you can have 20 or 30 if you want to, but it's just the weird thing is Sharon and I talked about it a lot. It was like when we finally got a fully funded emergency fund and we were finally out of debt, everything but the house, we almost quit having emergencies.
Murphy didn't visit.
But it seemed like everything was an emergency before that. Everything. I mean, we live in a new construction neighborhood, and Sharon picked up a nail in the front of her tire this week. And so I got to buy a tire yesterday. But it was kind of a yawn.
Yeah, not a big deal. Murphy feels different whenever you have the cash to pay for it.
Oh, that's inconvenient. Oops.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like instead of an emergency, it's an inconvenience. And that's not being snobbish and saying, I have money and so I don't. No, but the point is you get this margin in your life, and it also gives you financial peace, emotional margin. It gives you a relational margin. Someone in our marriage that is not me hit the garage side of the garage with a car and left a dent in it the other day. And it wasn't me. I don't know which of the other people it was, but I won't say. But it's like, oh, well, we get to fix the car. Oh, well. And it's like I don't have to throw a fit because my wife dinged up the car.
Right. Well, and you were telling a caller earlier that was in debt that this is a sprint. This period of time when you're in baby step 2 and you feel like you're drowning, and you feel stressed out, and you got to get gazelle intense and take 6 jobs. Like, this is a sprint. This isn't forever. Eventually, you will be through this. Hopefully, you'll up your income permanently, and then these things will not feel as big. You're going to get to
Chris is right on the tipping point.
Mm-hmm.
He's almost tipped on over it. So his questions are really good questions.
Absolutely.
And they're really natural questions that you kind of have to intellectually make a shift once you get away from desperation and into margin, away from, drama and into yawn. And you kind of have to make a shift and go, okay, what's wise now? What's wise now? What's wise now? And it's less and less and less and less and less. And, you know, we used to joke. I noticed the other day, my final life insurance policy lapsed the other day. And I hadn't canceled them. I could have canceled them and saved the money. But obviously, I mean, we've got hundreds of millions of dollars of real estate paid for. Sharon doesn't need any life insurance. It was ludicrous that I still had life insurance in place. But I just let it run because she wanted it. SWI, Sharon wants it. And she said, I'd rather have that than another, you know, shiny rock. I'm like, okay, you can have it. I'll keep it. It's absolutely not a financial planning thing. It's a Sharon thing, you know. But it was irrelevant. It's a yawn at that point because the margin is there, and that's what you're working towards. That's where we want to take you. So very, very cool stuff. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
Have you been inspired to make a change with your money? Want to know where to start? Take our 3-minute money quiz to get a plan you can follow. Go to RamseySolutions.com and search for Get Started to get a plan for your money.